And so, beloved masters, we gather here together for perhaps one of the most powerful new moon rituals that there's ever been. The sun and moon are in very tight conjunction with the planet Mercury in the sign of Scorpio. Scorpio, in and of itself, is a very intense sign, the holder of the mysteries, the keeper of the secrets. And the intensity of the scorpionic nature, because it is ruled by the planet Pluto, co-ruled by the planet Mars. Powerful energy of transformation, of energetic moving forward to accomplish. And so this energy of the new moon is about, yes, secrets, intense emotional reactions and responses. It is about the revelations of secrets that people have kept from themselves many times for lifetimes. And as the veils are falling, as the walls are coming down, and it is that because of the nature of these changes, that so much is drawing to an end. Old things that you've experienced for lifetimes, who you have known yourself to be. But now you are discovering yourself anew. A part of the secrecy, the intimacy, the privacy of the energy of this new moon is that humanity is entering into a chrysalis state to really feel how it is to enter into your sacred space and how it is to be in that place of stillness, of quiet, of peace without the outer world and all of its conflicts, to prepare you for the changes that you are making, for the movement into 2026, when things will be so dynamically different from what 2025 has been about. Things are moving faster. And the logical mind has promoted the idea that you have to move faster, do things quicker, you have to be right on it, and you have to be perfect. And all of that is just breaking apart and blowing away on the winds of change. Who you are becoming is not a going back to any place you've been, for there is no back to go to any longer. Moving forward requires absolute faith. Jupiter in the sign of Cancer is about faith. It's about justice. It is about truth. And this new moon sits in a grand trine with Jupiter in Cancer and Saturn and Neptune conjunct in the sign of Pisces. Saturn and Neptune at 29 degrees of Pisces sit on the global axis. Aries is the first sign of the horoscope. And therefore, Saturn and Neptune are sitting in the very last degree of the last sign in the horoscope. Letting go of old things, ending what has been. Even faith may be clearer, stronger. You may feel much more capable of accomplishing the things that you desire because this grand trine will certainly bring a dynamic emotional clearing. Even those who avow, I do not cry, may find themselves weeping as old things rise up to be released. The energy of what has been is leaving. And it provides, if you would, an emotional cleansing, clearing out old things, ideas, belief systems, judgments, criticism, both of self and others. All of that old garbage that is no longer necessary is being cleansed and cleared dynamically. If you look at how it is flooding all over the earth, you could even say that the goddess Gaia is weeping, clearing away, letting go, forgiving. And so the power of all of this energy is influencing so much movement. Those who are seeking to hold on to how it was may find that their grip is slipping because how it was is moving into the past that cannot be returned to. Free flow, a focus on truth, a focus on justice. Pluto sits in a trine with the planet Uranus. Uranus is sitting in the 29th degree of Taurus. Again, that breakover point, that last degree of the sign before moving back into the sign of Gemini. It is that Saturn will make its translation into a direct movement on the 28th of this month. It is that Uranus will begin to move forward direct on the 8th of December, and Neptune will enter into a direct movement the 26th of January. And as these planets begin to all move forward, where all of the planets are in forward motion, and the energy begins to pick up and things move faster. Come home to yourself. Integrate with your inner space. You're in a physical form, you're in the physical world, things are moving faster and faster out there. And you may find your brain is just whirling with that agitated, excited, militant energy. But inside you can experience that feeling of being in the womb, in a cocoon, in a chrysalis state, gestating to become more. Slow down. Forgive trying to keep up with anyone else. People are angry, they're frustrated, they're agitated. People are trying to do it faster and faster. They're trying to get their affairs in order. And just about the time they think they've got it all going the way they want it, it begins to expand and change. And you feel different within yourself, more powerful, more positive, calmer, more capable, because in that quiet cocoon, you can actually experience your own transformation. Transformation. Moving into a new form, a much more crystalline form. Scorpio is magical. Scorpio is intense in its power to create. In that Plutonian ruled furnace, for Scorpio is fiery water. And in that transformational energy, it is the fires of transformation, the waters of Spirit's essence. Everything is contributing to each individual becoming much more who you are. And as you know yourself, that sense of stability, that sense of confidence, that sense of faith. I no longer desperately need to know what's next because I feel the peaceful movement within me, the blessed assurance that all is well as I am willing to be aligned with it. It certainly doesn't stop change. It certainly doesn't stop challenges, but it allows you to be more present, more confident, more capable of paying attention to what I will call the internal dialogue. The logical mind is yama, 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 until it's like white noise in the background. It runs constantly. But as you allow yourself, give yourself permission, just relax into that connection with all that you are. Call on God, call on the goddess, call on all of us that are available to assist humanity and feel us with you. We are delighted with this transformational energy, and we are thrilled to be able to be a part of this time of the earth birthing into a new becoming. If you don't want to change your mind, then relaxing is going to be even more powerfully important because spirit is going to change the energy. It isn't that each individual is going to be attended to in a personal way. You will change. But when the essence of the whole is being transformed, expanded, lifted up, translated into a higher frequency, then every human being is touched. Every human being is moved to a higher consciousness. So, dearly beloved masters, this powerful, powerful time of Pluto trining Uranus, change, yes. Truth, absolutely. But truth in these times of the holding on to what has been, the denial that there's anything new or different, the attempt to, if anything, go back with the energy. And Saturn and Neptune sitting in an exact trine, or sextile rather, to both Pluto and Uranus. Powerful transformational energy. And with that Saturn-Neptune conjunction, right within a degree of the global axis, that transformational system that if you could see how the earth is blended together, a wheel, a circle, and the more that you are willing to be a part of that circle of life, the more you remember, the more you recreate yourself open to a depth of love that the logical mind would say can't possibly exist. How could I be so loved? Because divine essence sees no fault in you. The faults, the flaws, the separations, the divisiveness, the destruction, death, the feeling of being alone, uncared for, unnoticed, all of those things are aspects that the logical mind has brought into play over thousands of years, and it's had its time. And you have lived with its lessons. Sometimes a diamond, sometimes a stone. But dearly beloved masters, even the stones are beginning to translate into a much more crystalline form. The more you connect within, the more you feel that divine power of love connecting with you, embracing you, assuring you as you make your choices. Feel this. Can't you feel the love tonight? It's where you are. It's enough to make a wide-eyed wanderer come home. And so you've journeyed, and you have wandered, and the divine allowed it because the only way that children can grow, can discover, can know themselves, is to be allowed to search, to seek, to discover. So this is a time of the endings of things that many of you have wished would have ended a long time ago. But they couldn't end until it is time. And so they're ending. And many of you are experiencing endings that are literally like a knife cut a cord and it's over. It's done. Where'd the people go? They went their own way. The cord was cut and everyone was released. But I didn't want them to leave. Are you sure? Have you really sat with yourself and considered wholly, clearly, not in the divisive logical mind of, well, I want them, but I don't want them. I want them, but I don't want them. I want this to be, but I don't want it to be. And in the wholeness of that inner knowing, you feel a clarity and you understand why they cannot be there any longer. That it's time for them to move on along the journey that they make. And when it's time, if that time comes, you may connect with them again. It possibly might be in this life. It most definitely can be in new ones. And so, dearly beloved masters, the endings are coming. Some of them are painful. Some of them are almost like a birthing process to deliver something into the world and then move on. Spirit takes care of it all. And the logical mind says, well, I can't imagine how that could ever possibly come to anything good. Ain't nothing what it seems. Even when you look in your mirror and you think you know yourself, you see that face every day. Do you look? Do you really see you? Or do you actually only glance in the mirror to see if your face is clean or your hair is combed, and you avoid looking at you to see the beauty that you are, to see your glory? Because certainly the logical mind has made your expectations be that if I look too close, I'll be horrified. The lies of the illusion are some of the biggest endings that are happening. And the new beginnings might potentially feel like what the logical mind has dismissed as a fairy tale. I am a new being. I am walking on new land. I am finding a new life. I am recognizing from the Lord God of my being that there is so much more to me, to you, to all of it than we have been allowed to know for eons of time. Powerful planetary support. Truth. Truth. Truth is not my truth versus yours. The inner spiritual understanding, that wisdom within, shows you a reality that isn't divided. Because my truth versus your truth, and my truth's better than your truth, is divisive. I'm better than you are. I'm less than you are. Divisive. My truth is the way. And if you really want to go the right direction, you will walk with me. The Master Jesus said, I am the way, the truth, and the light. And today on earth, even among the Christians, not to mention all of the other religious tenets that are on the planet that are all adhering to their own teachings and their own truth. And yet there is a universal truth, a cosmic truth that binds all of the religions together. A common goal, divine laws that were set in motion before humanity was even created. So it ain't personal. It isn't about God picking on you or judging you or pushing you out of heaven. It is about a divine shift. You can throw your whole refusal to move, your whole resistant nature against divine truth, and you'll still find yourself falling into love. There was a song, oh, several decades ago, called Falling Into You. But the theme song of this day is falling into myself, falling in that love deeper and deeper and deeper into yourself, to know you, to feel a truth that is like a soothing balm on the wounds of separation. I am that I am. The personhood that I am, the soul that is mine, the truth that I would live by is one with God, Goddess, all that is. Because a rulership of patriarchal order has divided the earth so efficiently that in this time, much of the male population is attempting to stuff genie back in the bottle. The magic of the goddess is opening up. The goddess is emerging. The goddess is emerging in men and women. She isn't particular about what physical form you're carrying. That goddess energy is necessary to this translation, this transformation that is occurring to Earth and all of her people. Relax, refresh, renew. Take it easy on yourself. And being gentle with yourself tends to, as we are observing humanity making these changes, it seems to be a major point of conflict about being easy to myself, easy with myself. How can I do that? Won't God be mad at me if I'm not working hard? No, because it wasn't God's law that you work hard. It was logic. Logic says the harder you work, the greater your potential for success. Divine law says the more you focus on what you desire and allowing yourself not only to accomplish it, but to accept the positive outcomes. Be gentle with yourself. The deeper you go within, the more you relax into that divine connection in you, the higher your frequency raises. The earth is being brutalized physically, mentally, emotionally. The earth is being tortured, she's being punished, and so are her people. And there are a few who really do believe honestly within themselves that people deserve to suffer, that they really should be punished. There has been destruction to witches over eons of time, wise women. But the patriarchal order said any woman who is not complying with the laws, and very often they'll point to the church, with the laws of the church, then God will be displeased with her. And the ideas and the thoughts and the demands of what women should be able to do is Herculean. And yet men call themselves the stronger gender because they have muscles. But the strength of woman is equal to the strength of man differently. It's an equality differently. And it certainly isn't that men can't be gentle. In fact, it is a miraculous blend when a strong man is gentle, when a gentle woman is strong. And each one of you, each precious, blessed whole, bringing your part to the whole of all, each one of you is a divine contributor. Amazing. Be amazed with yourself. Be amazed at what you're learning. Be amazed at what you're experiencing. Be amazed at what you're feeling. Feeling, not just having emotional reactions. Yes, this new moon in Scorpio is definitely going to bring emotional reactions, for Scorpio can be rather chaotic, potentially violent, because it is the sign of transformation. it is an amazing energy for manifesting the things you desire. But if you are not clear, if you are not careful, certainly, beloved masters, if it's not loving, then you can definitely manifest what you believe you desire, but it may not have the outcome you were looking for. Logic looks at, in this moment, if I do this, I'll get the outcome I want. But logic does not, as spirit does, look ahead, feel into that unknown potential and realize if I make this choice in this moment I may get what I think, what I want is this specific thing. But as time passes and I consider things a bit, I may realize that the choice that I was willing to make to get what I want a week ago is not anything that I would desire to even have any interaction with today because so many things have happened. I see, I feel more than I did, and therefore, in that more, I realize the choice that I would have made would have brought a much smaller, more confined, limited outcome. And as I waited, as I pondered, as I went within and connected, that unifying energy of the divine brought the opposing pieces together for me. And I have a whole different perspective. I see, feel. I hear, feel. I even think, feel, rather than I see and I react to what I thought I saw. I hear and I aggress on what I believed I heard. I think that that's what I was experiencing, and what I think I experienced is a Cold War. But spirit doesn't need to do battle because divine creation is not made in destruction. It may be tempered by the fire. A fine sword is put in the fire to temper the metal so that it's strong, it's resilient, it's flexible. And in these times, this new moon in Scorpio is tempering a lot of energy in humanity, putting you through the fire, not of hell, but of transformation. bringing you home, making you new, allowing you to witness from the inside out the life that is yours as you pay attention to you, as you forgive leaving you out of your life, because the lure of the logical mind is you've got to do everything for others. But in this tempering energy, because no one really has a full concept of what a caterpillar experiences inside the cocoon that transforms a caterpillar into a butterfly. And in many ways, each individual on earth is experiencing their own inner test by fire, not to destroy, but to reform, to intensify your capability, to assist you to let go of the limits of logic and allow yourself to view yourself with divine mind. There is always more. And yet, logic would have you spend your time fighting the loss and missing out on new good because you're holding so tight to things that don't even serve you anymore. Dearly beloved, amazing, divine, creative masters, the planets are tempering the earth. The planets are sending energy to help humanity reform. The spirit waters of the sign of Aquarius, the water bearer, have been being poured out on humanity for the last 100 years, preparing you. You've made so many changes in the 20th century. You're so different than you were in the 19th century. Here you are in the 21st century, and you are being called for a grand transformation. There are many references, mystical references, actually references that as you would hear the information, see it with your soul instead of with your logic, you would recognize the answers to who you are and who you are becoming. But it is, beloved masters, to take the time to feel. And the logical mind says, I don't want to feel bad. I don't want to experience the difficulties. I want to skip the lessons. Life is a school. You can skip school, But somewhere along the way of life, you may feel like there was something that you might have gotten that you didn't get that one day, or perhaps the many days that you decided school wasn't important. There are many people on the planet that have checked out through drugs and alcohol. They're not physically dead, and yet the life that they are experiencing is so far removed from that beautiful inner experience. And logic says, but this is the high you're looking for. This is an out-of-body experience. If that is truly what spirit is, why would God punish anyone the way that people are punished when they began to recover from drinking too much? Those that never recover from ODing, those that are so addicted to any kind of substance that it controls their life, whether it's a drug, whether it's cafe, whether it is soda. It is, beloved masters, all of these old things that cannot go with you into the new becoming are being addressed. They're being touched. You have free will, and many of you have an excellent and very powerful will. However, it doesn't serve you to hold on to what has been in these times, even though you can. And it's moving through the fear of what will I find as I let go. The homecoming, the chrysalis state, the transformation of carbon-based beings into light beings. Are you willing? Because certainly there is a tremendous amount of support from the planets. The truth is coming to light. To refuse to see it and say that's not it, and what I have known or believed is all there is, creates more challenges for yourself than it does for others. But those that are waking up and feeling the empowerment of these high-charged planetary essences, the electrical essence of divine mind, God, Goddess, all that is. The air, the electrical energy of Uranus and Pluto. High-powered, high-velocity energy. And The logical mind may say, well, no one will live through all of that, as though spirit wouldn't have a concept of how much you could bear. And the truth of it is, whether it's positive or negative, every one of you can certainly bear much more than you've been led to believe. But this translation is not to bring more suffering. You certainly learned how to do that. This is a time of healing, of peeling away, not ripping off, but just very gently peeling away old layers of what the mind has suggested is protection. But as you peel them away, you find that the enlightenment is amazing, delightful, powerful, exquisite, comfortable. When you were told it couldn't possibly be that way. So, dearly beloved masters, this new moon is almost like a culmination, the entering in through a new portal, the going within and entering the chrysalis state, the cocoon, and transferring, translating, transcending what you have been. In the outer world, there's going to be a lot of emphasis on technology because the electronics of the world, the technology of science is moving along. Unfortunately, the intentions that are moving it sometimes are not for the highest good of all concerned. The high-powered technology that seeks to put humanity under its thumb, to control. The logical mind is in a great debate over AI. It can be an amazing tool. But for those who have wanted to skip school, for those that didn't particularly choose to participate in life, for those that would rather just sit on the beach and drink pina coladas, AI can take that much more control of your life subtly under the guise of making it easier. It takes over where your God-given free will would make very different choices. Where the powerful translation that every human being is experiencing now, that's opening you up and bringing you to a place of more, that you recognize how vast you are. And AI would do its very best to convince you that you're even smaller than you've thought now. Control attempts to overpower free will. Control is the logical mind. Free will comes from the divine. AI is potentially, for those that aren't really paying attention, it's a potential bigger control device than ever. Are you paying attention? Are you willing to know yourself? Are you hoping someone will come along and connect you to your higher self? That can't happen. Oh, there'll be people that'll tell you they can do that. But if you don't participate, they can go through all of the information, the teachings, the actions that could potentially connect you with your higher self. However, if you are not willing energetically to be open to receive, not just, well, give it to me, but be open to receive this blessed good, which may consciously or unconsciously help you to understand why it's time to let go of control. It's been a tool, a potential weapon that has pulled humanity off of the path of love and harmony and into a place where the solution for every issue is war. Whether it's in the battlefield, the boardroom, or the bedroom. War, conflict, fighting, arguing, debating is not a solution for wholeness at all. And the planets are beaming into that energy, just beaming into it. Chiron, the wounded healer, is sitting in about the 24th degree of Aries. It is sitting in a position that calls for more healing, letting go. In the sign of Aries, it is about new programming, new ideas, new thought, new design, new methods. It's square Jupiter. And therefore, a lot of the things about science and creativity on the earth are going to be revealed for their true reason. And what you thought they were, and what you may find out they really are, can be very different things. Endings of the old, making room for new beginnings, beginnings made in truth and honesty, self-awareness, in connection to the inner space, The logical mind might even call that the chrysalis state. And certainly it's a good place to become. So, dearly beloved masters, it is so powerfully important for you to love yourself so well that you'll forgive fighting change. The changes that are being called for now are changes that are directed by divine essence. So they aren't changes that are made quickly. They aren't changes that are made without giving it a thought. They are changes that you feel are loving or perhaps pulling you to a direction that would lead you away from where you're wanting to go now. So you may all find yourself coming to tears. The hallmark moments are everywhere. And it is that you may weep over things that logic would shake its head, masculine order, and say, how ridiculous. And yet, if it brings up a wound and the tears can heal that wound, then let them come and let it go. Tears cleanse the windows of the soul. Tears are an emotional release. Now, there's tears of compassion, tears of healing, tears of joy. And then there's the tears of pity, of feeling sorry for self, tears of judgment and tears of blame that simply leave you exhausted, but not necessarily healed. When spirit inspires the tears, the feeling comes from the soul. When logic inspires the tears, very often it feels like you were punched in your solar plexus. Same region, but the physical, emotional responds quite differently to how the spiritual will move the same energy, but in a different direction. Tears are not a waste of time, but if they become an addiction, just like any other addiction, they will take away rather than contributing. For addiction is a part of the control game of the physical world. You're quite capable in physical form to energetically blend, meld into yourself, to remember the energy of creation as it was given to you in the very beginning. because that was a gift from the divine. And so, beloved masters, to really feel into yourself and experience, if you would, the dynamics of the planetary essence that's pouring into you. It may give you chills. It may make you shake. It may make you cold. It may make you have hot flashes, but they're not the kind of hot flashes that come from hormones. They're a very different energy. That high-powered frequency may cause you to feel so energized that you feel as though you would never need to sleep again. But right now on the planet, a large majority of the population is exhausted all of the time. So tired, I just need to sleep. They sleep and they're still tired because how they have managed energy in a carbon-based world doesn't require nearly as much power to generate a crystalline form. Enlightenment is lighter in every way. And so, beloved masters, this new moon, and the new moon is always about the inner, about what you are experiencing inside. What are you learning in yourself? The full moon is about what I have created within that I'm now expressing out into the world, trying it out, see how it works. So the darkness, you may actually feel as though the days are darker. You turn on lights and it's still dark. The days are darker. We're moving into winter. Well, winter is a dark time. This winter may seem darker than winters that you can remember. It isn't about hiding. It's actually about revelation. So much of the clouds of illusion being brought to the surface and expelled. Old darkness to blow away on the winds of change. And so, masters, this is a beginning. This is a chrysalis state that is transforming each and every one into something new. Some will accept it, some will reject it. All will eventually find it in your own time. And so, beloved masters, really take the time to look at yourself without critical judgment, to feel yourself without judging the sorrow if it comes up, but also let yourself feel good about who you are. You haven't, many of you had a great deal of practice about feeling really good about yourself. But as you do, The changes are priceless. And so, beloved Master, we will open the circle. We thank the North, the great teachers. We thank the energy that comes to us as a new becoming. We thank the West, the power of the oceans and the seas, of water everywhere, and how it cleanses and washes away the old. We thank the fire and its purifying, transformational energy. And we thank the air, the mind, the technology, the thoughts, the breath of life. And so the circle is open. For all that have joined us, we are delighted that you were here. For those that would go out into their day, into their night, you are welcome in this place, and the door is open. Merry meet, merry part, and merry meet again. And for all that would stay and be with us in this time of consideration, you are welcome in love. And so I declare this ritual complete.